students, I have brought math school for you so that you may learn or you can learn mathematics very easily at home. I am starting with algebra because algebra is a very important branch of pure mathematics and it helps a lot in solving all the problems in the rest of mathematics. So please listen clearly and then try to learn, then try to practice the examples, please. Everything is written on this page. I am just explaining it again. Before going to quadratic expressions, I would like to explain linear expressions and algebraic expressions as it is written on the page. An algebraic expression, look at this. An algebraic expression is always consist of algebraic terms and operation symbols like plus, minus, division, multiplication, or brackets. The combination of algebraic terms and signs make an algebraic expression. Look at example number 1. In algebraic expression 5y minus 7x minus 9, there are three terms. You can count the terms. 5y is a one term, minus 7x is second term, and minus 9 is third term. Alright, we count the terms along with their signs. It is mentioned over here. Three terms are there in the expression. Two variables are there. Variables means x, y, z, t, whatever is written from a till z in the expression, that is, those alphabets are known as variables. Variables mean we can change them. Instead of y, I can write it down t over here. Instead of x, I can write down s over here. It means these are variables. We can change these variables as well as their values. So there are two variables x and y in this expression and one constant term minus 9, all counting from 1 onwards, 1 2 3, from 0 onwards. You can say from 0 onwards, all counting. We can say all the numbers in the counting are known as constant terms sometimes at this stage. Later we can write down an alphabet as a constant, but we are not going to that side. Simply just try to understand minus 9 is a constant because there is no variable with it. Okay. The coefficient of y is 5 and the coefficient of x is minus 7. Intentionally, I have written y first and x later because some students think that we should go in order. No, there is no compulsion. We are not bound to write down variables in order. We can write down y first and x later. There are two variables and their coefficients. What are coefficients? I have written the definition of the coefficients in the lesson. A coefficient is a number written before the variables in an algebraic expression. Now I think it is clear to you that this type of a function is known as algebraic expression, and in this algebraic expressions these things can be noted down, these three things with three arrows. And the fourth thing is coefficient. The number written before variable is known as coefficient along with its sign. Coefficient of y is 5 and coefficient of x is minus 7. Now all these terms along with their signs and coefficients are making an expression which is known as a linear expression. Why it is a linear expression? Because there is no power on any variable in this expression. Then more than 1. Then power, what is the power of y and x over a? First of all, I want to tell you, when x and y are written without power, it doesn't mean they have no power. They have power 1. The power of y is 1 and the power of x is also 1, which is not mentioned, and we don't need to mention it. It is understood when there is no power on the variables, their power is 1. And when there is no sign with the coefficient, its sign is plus. These are a few things which are understood in mathematics. Okay, this is a linear expression because it involves no powers on the variables. Understood? Now come to example number 2. Linear expression was very important. First of all, it was very important to explain so that you can come to know what is the difference between linear expression and quadratic expression. Now example 2 is about quadratic expressions. Look at these two expressions, 5a square plus 6 and 3t square plus t minus 7. Before explaining these two examples, please come back for a minute to linear expression. Look at the linear expression given in example number 1. This expression is with two variables y and x. But now come to example 2. But this expression is with one variable. We can write it down like this as well. This expression is also in one variable. I am not writing down different variables over here. We can write down a quadratic or a linear expression in the same way. But why I am not writing down the linear expression with same variables? Look at this. If I write down 5x over here and minus 7x over here, so it will be, these two will be simplified. And after simplification, 5x and minus 7x will give us single term, right? So just to make or just to write down a linear expression with three terms, I have used two variables. We can write down an expression in one variable as well, and particularly in quadratic expressions, we always use one single variable. Sometimes when there is or when there are two different variables, that will be a different case. We will go to that case later. First of all, look at 5a square plus 6 and 3t square plus t minus 7. In these expressions, algebraic expressions, you are noticing that a has power 2 more than 1. Here in linear, y's power was 1, x power was 1, but a has power 2 when an expression involved a square power or bigger than that. That is not also a very famous case, power bigger than 2, but it can be 4. But that is a very higher level, intermediate level, or 10 O levels or 11 O levels. But right now, at this stage, because I am explaining it for grade 8, so for grade 8 or grade 9, it's very important to learn 5a square plus 6 means this is a quadratic expression because variable a involves power more than 1. When an algebraic expression involves power on the variables more than 1, those algebraic expressions are known as quadratic expressions. I hope you understood. In 5a square plus 6, a is the variable, 5 and 6 are constants or constant terms, and in 3t square plus t minus 7, t is the variable, and 3, 1 and minus 7 are constant terms. These are the examples of quadratic expressions, but if you would like to understand what is the general form, if you would like to know what is the general form of a quadratic expression, I think it will be more clear to you. What is a quadratic expression? Look at this general form of quadratic expression, ax square plus bx plus c, where a, b and c are constant terms. Out of these constant terms, there is a characteristic attached with a. There is a characteristic attached with a, and that characteristic is a can never be equal to 0. If a is equal to 0, this factor would be equal to 0, and the rest of thing will be a linear equation, not a quadratic function. Okay, I have proved it by putting 0 in general form. Look up, come to the last lines. Write down ax square plus bx plus c and put a equal to 0 over here. You will come to know 0 multiplied by anything is 0. You should note down this point because this is very important point. Sometimes students write down x square multiplied by 0 is x square. I have watched many times. So that is why I am bringing your attention towards this point. 0 multiplied by anything is equal to 0. And why we are multiplying 0 by ax square? Because ax square is representing it that a has a multiplication relation with x square, because there is no sign between a and x square. There is a bracket. Bracket means multiplication. Whenever a bracket is involved in an algebraic expressions, you may multiply the outer number with the inner number or inner variable. Now 0 multiplied by x square will give you 0, and the rest of expression will be a linear expression. This is not a quadratic expression. Bx plus c is just a linear expression. So I think it's clear to you now that first term ax square can never be equal to 0 in a quadratic expression. When it is 0, the term will not be a quadratic, that will be a linear expression. That will be a term of a linear expression. So keep it in your mind, a can never be equal to 0.